This character is my first miss on the predictions. If the roster is 35 characters or less, this is the first character that I did not predict for that size of a roster. I had him for a bigger expanded roster, but for 35 or less, I did not see Kira making it. Which is fine. I don't mind missing some characters here and there, especially if it's your favorite. Like, I'm totally fine with it. But the bigger question for me is, if this roster has 35 characters or less, then what happens? Like, which character did I predict that doesn't make it? And are people going to be happy with that? So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. For now, let's take a look at his moveset and what his gimmick is. His Zanpakuto makes the things it strikes heavier, right? Only in Awakening, though. Interesting. He only goes into Shikai on Awakening. So up until then, he's just going to be a regular Shinigami. Yeah, maybe the gimmick doesn't kick in until Awakening. And we'll see how they handle it. We're going to read everything about him right now. Let's go. And we're going to start with his signature move, which is Bakudo 4 and Haro 11. Fires a Hainawa forward, which, if it hits, transforms into Tsuzuri Raiden and deals additional damage. Holding the input changes Hainawa, and the opponent is pulled towards you. So Hainawa seems to be this whip-like move, and if it connects, it then blows up for extra damage, or you hold down the button, and Kira turns into Scorpion and says, "Get over here!" I never mind having moves like these in fighting games or arena fighters. I kind of vibe with them. Spiritual Pressure Move 1, Jujoken Mai. A large forward swinging slash that delivers a series of high power blows. That is very straightforward. You activate it and the first slash is so close range and then has 2 follow-ups, but like, this is the most basic special move I've ever seen in this game. It's so basic. It doesn't even say that it counters anything or has armor or whatever. It's just 3 slashes. Okay. Spiritual Pressure Move 2, Bakudo 61, Rikujo Koro. Restrains the opponent for a period of time, allowing Izuru to attack freely. Yeah, straight up a stun. You give this to someone like Soifon and it's scary because she can insta-kill you. You give this to Kira and, watch out, he's gonna slash you, I guess. What else does he have? Bro, this Awakening better do something, because so far this character is Omega Sleep. By releasing the Shikai Wabisuke, Izuru's fighting style will change to make more use of Wabisuke's abilities in battle. While in this stage, a hit counter is active, and when full, hitting an opponent with a spiritual pressure move will cause them to be slowed and take more damage. Okay, so from what I understand, there's gonna be another meter on screen once he goes into his Awakening. And when you hit your opponent, that meter is gonna fill up. When it's full, you then have to hit your opponent with a special move, like the 3 slashes he does here, and only when you do that will the opponent be slowed. So it's not the type of Shikai that like slows down the opponent the more you hit them. No, first you fill up the meter and then you trigger the slow. And they will also be taking more damage. I think if you pull this off, this might be a win condition sort of deal, because playing with a slowed down character that takes extra damage seems like really, really bad for you. So yeah, if he pulls off the slow, I think that will be very good for Akira. The problem is probably getting there, because you gotta hit the opponent a bunch and then you gotta hit them with a special move, and your special moves seem kind of mid, or maybe they're not mid. They are straightforward, but sometimes straightforward is good. I don't know. This character seems boring as hell, but I guess even that is lore accurate. Kira mains are gonna hate me. Unique actions that draw opponents in and force them to make a choice. I do like the signature move, but I think that's about it for this character. I don't see anything else that's really super appealing to me. But let me know if you guys are seeing the sauce here. Right now as it stands, I'm not, but I'm happy to be shown the light. Now, because we're here every Monday, I always ask you guys to share your thoughts or comments down below so I can feature them in the future video. And last week from the Renji video, no wonder Renji took so long to get a trailer. Man gets a whole ass stage to accommodate the brand new Renji's Bankai grants him. I think Renji did something that put a lot of people at ease when it comes to playing giants or having giant characters in this game. Because we can see from Renji's Bankai that we go into a whole new stage. A very empty stage. But this might be exactly how they handle giant characters in the future. I'm talking about Yami, I'm talking about Komamura, maybe even Mayuri, depending on how they do his Bankai. They might trigger that and we go into this empty stage to fight against a giant, basically a PvP boss fight. Now, will all these giant states be temporary? Will they all revert back to normal at some point? We'll have to wait and see. There are a couple of giants they could do, and whatever the next one is will probably probably tell us a lot about this type of playstyle in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Renji Bankai Breaking is one of those things that just winks at what usually happens in his fights, and a character being strong but having a countdown to being weak is really interesting, making playing Renji seems fun. It really is a wink at the Byakuya going, you think that's a real Bankai boy? Let me show you what a real Bankai looks like. Yeah, I really think once he goes into Bankai, his opponent is going to be on survival mode. The design philosophy is probably Renji is overpowered while in this state, but if you survive for long enough, he doesn't have a Bankai for the rest of the game. That's the philosophy, that's just the theory for now. Maybe the character comes out and that state is garbage. And they did say that if you take his health down, the Bankai also breaks. Now, the design seems to be like, it's going to be very hard for you to do that. It's going to be easier to maybe survive for a bit and wait for the Bankai to time out and then go on the aggressive. But while the Bankai is out, yeah, I think it's going to be a boss fight and you're going to be, I don't even know if you can block his attacks. But yeah, probably dodging, flash stepping, and just trying to time waste as much as you can. Also considering how lore accurate they are, I can't wait to see what Aizen is capable of. Aizen is always interesting to see in a Bleach game because he could be so many things. While a lot of Bleach characters have kind of a set style and you know what to expect from them, and even then, they are able to surprise us with some unique mechanics in this game, Aizen, on the other hand, feels like it doesn't have a gimmick. He has a lot of them. So what they choose to focus on, what they choose to make Aizen is completely up in the air, and it's always nice to see an interpretation. I mean, I guess you could say Aizen's gimmick is being cool and showing some really powerful attacks while putting very little effort into them. Like, man will go, Hello no Sanju-san, and then everything just explodes. And it's like, bro didn't even try. But like, that's more of a personality trait, you know? That's not really a gimmick for his moveset. So yeah, they could really do anything. But we are gonna have to wait for Aizen for sure. One thing I haven't seen anyone comment on is that this trailer confirmed DLC. Watch the beginning, and under the rating for the game T, it says in-game purchases, which we haven't seen before. So they are already telling us that this game will get DLC of some kind. The very first frame of the Renji trailer says in-game purchases. While this does not confirm DLC, because it could be, you know, anything else. The reason why no one's saying anything about it is because every single Bandai Namco game that has come out in the last couple of years has had DLC. Whether it was a major success or it was a complete flop at launch, every anime game Bandai Namco makes nowadays is already planned with DLC in mind. So yeah, even though they haven't said anything about DLC so far, I think we're all kind of expecting it. So this came as a confirmation of something we already knew was going to happen. To me, the more interesting question is, what is the DLC? Because if you think about a 35 character roster, which is like how many characters this game will probably have if we keep getting weekly trailers from here until early 2025, like it's going to be somewhere between 30 to 40 characters. And you start making those roster predictions, you're going to see that a lot of characters are going to be left out, even though we're only covering these arcs from, you know, the start of Bleach until the end of Hueco Mundo. So what is the DLC? Is it more characters from within these arcs, or are we actually going to go forward? Are we going to go into Fullbringer arc? Are we going to go maybe even further beyond, or are we saving that for maybe a Rebirth of Souls 2? That to me is the interesting question. What is the DLC? Is it characters from these arcs, or are we going to go into the future? The fact that this confirms DLC, I think it's just kind of confirming something Bandai has been doing for a long time, so it didn't really strike us as news. But still, well done noticing that. I completely missed it, to be honest, but this might be the reason why no one is really talking about it. And that's gonna do it for today. If you guys got more thoughts or theories, leave them in the comments down below and you might be in the next video. And if you've missed the Renji trailer and breakdown, you can watch it right here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.